Tonight, the eyes of the entire world are fixed on Islamabad. This isn't just a meeting between neighbors, it's a high-stakes diplomatic gamble that could prevent a global energy crisis. Pakistan has stepped up to provide a neutral venue where two of the world's most powerful adversaries, the United States and Iran, can finally bring their grievances to the table. For the US, this is an opportunity to demonstrate global leadership. For Pakistan, it's a chance to prove its role as a responsible stakeholder in regional peace. For our American viewers, it's crucial to understand the objectives Washington brought to these talks. Vice President JD Vance arrived with a clear mission: the safety of American citizens and stability in the Middle East. The U.S. position remains firm. A nuclear arms race serves no one. Vance utilized a strategy of peace through strength, making it clear that while the U.S. desires diplomacy, it will never compromise on the security of its allies or the integrity of international law. It was a resolute American stance that the world observed with respect. On the other side of the table, the Iranian delegation carried the weight of their own constraints. Decades of sanctions have deeply impacted their economy, and Iran viewed these talks as a demand for the respect of its sovereignty. Pakistan's role was to act as a bridge. However, friction arose when fundamental principles collided. While the U.S. demanded ironclad guarantees, Iran sought immediate relief. This was the true test for Pakistani diplomacy, connecting two parties that have viewed each other with deep suspicion for nearly half a century. Effective mediation requires economic autonomy. Here, Pakistan faced a significant hurdle. Because Pakistan is navigating its own economic reforms and maintains deep trade ties with the U.S., it struggled to act as a hard mediator. American experts argue that a successful mediator must have the leverage to impose costs on both sides. Pakistan's current economic climate limited its role to that of a facilitator, providing the room and the coffee, rather than a decisive power player capable of breaking a deadlock. Another challenge for Pakistan was keeping the negotiations free from the influence of other regional players. The interests of Saudi Arabia, China, and Israel were invisible guests at this table. The American delegation needed to ensure that any potential agreement would not upset the delicate balance of power in the region. Pakistan found it difficult to synchronize the interests of all these major stakeholders. In high-level diplomacy, good intentions are rarely enough without the strategic capacity to back them up. According to inside sources, tensions inside the Serena Hotel conference room peaked around the 12th hour. Negotiations nearly collapsed over the issue of nuclear inspections. The U.S. insisted on modern, transparent oversight, an absolute necessity for international security. Iran, however, viewed this as an intrusion into its domestic affairs. While Pakistani officials attempted to cool the atmosphere through breakout sessions, they lacked a comprehensive third option or working paper of their own to bridge the technical divide. It's important to remember that the relationship between Washington and Islamabad is built on decades of security partnership. During the Cold War, Pakistan was a key ally, even acting as the bridge that facilitated the historic opening between the U.S. and China in 1971. This legacy is why Washington chose Islamabad as a venue. Despite the complexities of the modern era, shared interests in counterterrorism and regional stability continue to bind the two nations. A cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy is non-proliferation. The primary concern for the American delegation was ensuring that Iran's nuclear program remains within peaceful bounds. The U.S. argument is logical. A nuclear-armed Middle East would be catastrophic. While Pakistan understands the weight of being a nuclear power, it struggled to convince Iran that U.S. demands for IAEA inspections are not a threat to sovereignty, but a prerequisite for global trust. Security remains the top priority. Vice President Vance presented hard evidence regarding regional stability, emphasizing that peace is impossible as long as proxy groups receive funding and arms. Pakistan attempted to frame this within an economic relief package, but the U.S. remained firm. Security guarantees must come before economic concessions. This highlighted a gap in the mediation, the need for a robust joint security framework. For the average American, this summit was about their wallet. A failure in diplomacy leading to a conflict in the Gulf would cause gas prices in the US to skyrocket overnight. Pakistan played a positive role here by assuring the US that it would do everything in its power to protect energy corridors. By positioning itself as a guardian of these supply lines, Pakistan aligned itself directly with American economic interests. If diplomacy fails, we face a doomsday scenario. A blocked Strait of Hormuz would trigger a global economic collapse. Pakistan's biggest challenge was proving to the US that it has a plan B to handle such an escalation. Without the capacity to provide hard security guarantees, Pakistan's role as a mediator remains fragile. After one of historical tension and modern maneuvering, where do we stand? While a final deal wasn't signed after 21 hours, it would be a mistake to call this a failure. The US proved it is willing to pursue every diplomatic avenue for peace, provided it doesn't compromise national security. Pakistan has secured a 14-day ceasefire, a fragile peace, but one that saves lives. The road to peace is expensive, but the cost of war is far greater. The quest for peace between Iran and the US is more than just a headline, it's a glimpse into our collective future. Pakistan has taken a bold step, but the question remains, can world powers set aside their grievances for the sake of global stability? What do you think? Can Pakistan's mediation truly prevent a major conflict, or was this just another missed opportunity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. If you found this deep dive analysis valuable, don't forget to like the video. Your support helps us continue producing high-quality content. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve on the world's most untold stories, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Join us as we continue to uncover the truth behind the headlines. Thank you for watching.